Where you fight, anger is your biggest tool. Fighting angry, that drains you twice as fast. Yeah, the guy in the ring is your enemy, but if all you're trying to do is kill him, then you expose yourself. You leave yourself vulnerable. God protects yourself. Make his mistakes be his destruction.
For me, I was more miserable trying to make everyone else happy than I am now with everyone else unhappy with me. I would rather be hated by everyone and like myself.
I don't apologize. In the end, I don't care whether you love me or you hate me, just as long as I win.
You are not ready.
I know.
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose. To accept defeat, to learn to die is to be liberated from it. So when tomorrow comes, you must free your ambitious mind and learn the art of dying.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding. The shadows would say you, because they belong to me.
Who are you?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
I'd say one of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero. If you think about the difference between winners and losers, winners define themselves by what they made happen, and losers define themselves by what happened to them.
This is my life, man. Do you know how hard I worked to get here?
Man, most people struggle their whole life to find out who they are. Struggle their whole life to find out what defines them, what they actually enjoy and what they don't.
You start putting yourself in situations that suck, you'll find yourself.
But I'll do it perfectly or I don't do it.
Mike, are you familiar with the saying, perfect is the enemy of good?
Well, good enough is the enemy of humanity.
Do what no one else does. Run 3 o'clock in the morning because no one else is running 3 o'clock in the morning. If they're training 3 hours, you train 4 hours. You train when the gym is closed. You know, whenever the gym is closed and you already trained, you train again. You know, you have to do what no one else is doing. You know, when they're sleeping, you're running, you're working out.
So don't wait. Don't be afraid. If you're listening to this out there, don't be afraid. Just go. A hero dies once, a coward dies 1,000 times. Because this will be on your mind. I should go every day. You're thinking about this thing. Every day you feel this thing in your side, your neck, your back. I don't know if I should go. I don't want to go. No, it'll be okay. Oh, it comes and goes. Go.
People won't want to hear this, but what you avoid controls you. If you avoid tough conversations, your relationships suffer. If you avoid risk, your business will suffer. If you avoid failure, your growth will suffer. If you think having uncomfortable conversations is hard, wait until you see the result of not having uncomfortable conversations. Much harder. At least for me, I just try and face the thing that I'm avoiding and constantly ask myself, like, what is that thing that I'm trying not to look at? And then force myself to stare at it, because usually the thing that scares you the most is the thing that you need most to face to move forward.
There's certain good things about being alone. You have time to do the things you want to do, like study and plan, but you can't have dinners like this or be physical with a person, outside of flirtationship.
There's times where you're gonna have to do it alone. There's not gonna be any team support. There's not gonna be any family support. There's not gonna be any friend support. There's gonna be times where you've got to go and do it yourself, and you gotta do it alone. And those are the times that make a difference. Those are the times that count. Those are the times where you have to dig deep yourself to get the job done. And if you can make that happen, you will win.
When you start believing what other people say about you, you become a shell of yourself. You become somebody that's different, and you're trying to be perfect for others that don't really give a about whether or not you breathe another day. They like, man, you just another one that we could just troll or hate on. So I had to make the shift to be able to stand on my own 10 toes and be able to be a man out here.
Wherever, you know what I mean? So that's why I like to be isolated, and it has helped me coming out here and being locked in an apartment on my own, building back up my leg, going from rehab to home to rehab to home, because there was no outsiders. It was isolation, it was visualization, it was motivation, and it was dedication. There was nothing else going on in my life, you know what I mean? To get to the pinnacle, it needs to be like that. It needs to be no outsiders. It needs to be, you need to have your team and your focus, and that's it. I don't need friends that aren't involved in this game, or that aren't on the same path, you know what I mean? Because it's just, it doesn't make sense.
There was a kid who everyone underestimated. Too small, too quiet, too ordinary. But every day while they laughed, he worked. In the gym, in the books, in the shadows. He knew one truth. Effort beats talent when talent doesn't try. Years later, they asked him how he did it, and he just smiled, because they never saw the grind. It's the quiet hustle that makes the loudest impact. How loud do you want your success to be?
Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the you want to be. Find your purpose, and then you'll find the courage to start that journey.
Champions, let success be formed. If you have to talk about the success, guys, you cheapen the accomplishment altogether. The true champions are quiet. The critics of life, these parasite society, has never seen the crowd from the field's view. They've also never taken a breath of air that's mixed with anxiety and pressure. They know no victory nor defeat, because they never put themselves at risk. They never shown up. They've never walked their talk. So therefore, we tell them to go fuck themselves in their opinion. We don't care what they fucking say. All we care about is people that can perform. And those guys and girls, they don't need to talk.
Last night, I had a dream. When I got to Africa, I had one hell of a rumble. I had to beat Tarzan's behind first for claiming to be the king in the jungle. For this fight, I've wrestled with alligators. I've tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning and put thunder in jail. You know I'm bad. I have murdered a rock. I injured a stone, and I hospitalized a brick. I'm so bad I make medicine sick.
Fear is universal. I think the only way to approach fear is you got to go right at it. The best way to fight the demons that chase you in the night is to stop and turn around. Turn around. Face them. Man up.
The story continues. The story continues. So if you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that, right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, if I fail today, okay, I'm gonna learn something from that failure, and I'm gonna try again on Tuesday.
What will you do?
Rebuild it. Just the way it was, brick for brick.
The superpower of learning to be alone and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's critical, and I do think that these times where you just think about things, just be alone and think about things, are so rare these days. And I think during those rare times is when you really get to understand what you actually believe or don't believe.
You have to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow. The Bible, there's a verse in the Bible that says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. You can't become the best version of yourself unless you're willing to neglect who you are today. The bad habits, the bad friendships, bad relationships, the bad ideas, the bad mindset. Because if you want to become a millionaire, if you want to become a person that's successful, if you want to develop a better physique, it will require sacrifice. And if you want to get to the next level, it'll cost you. There is a price to success. It hurts. Like, you've had to neglect friends. You've had to neglect certain comments from family members. You've had to work overnight for years and years, and nobody's going to see that. Yeah. Nobody, but that's the price. And you will either live the price with two aspects, because you're going to pay the price regardless of life. You will pay the price of discipline and hard work, or you will pay the price of regret. And the last thing I want to live is a life of regret. When I'm sitting on my deathbed by myself, my girl won't be there, you won't be there, it'll just be me, myself, and I will have to live and deal with the consequences and the pain of, did I pursue my fullest potential, or did I settle for average and mediocre because I wasn't able to sacrifice the current version of myself for who I was able to become?
It's funny, man. People want to know how I'm always motivated. It's the unseen work. I'm out running at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, in the gym, long sessions by myself. That's real.
The Lonely Chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. The desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there, and you're going to have uncertainty. There's not even the promise of glory or success or triumph when you get through the other side. What am I pushing toward? You know, the Rocky cutscene lasts for 90 seconds in the movie, but it can last for 5 years in your life. And you have no idea whether or not it's even going to work. And that's the bit that always got to me. The bit that always got to me was I didn't even know if there was going to be any glory on the other side.
You get to face a lot of shit, young man. You got a long journey ahead of you, because you're going to find out that while your dad did a lot of shit to you, you're going to have to make it on your own.
My first 9 businesses failed.
As in, the first one, I spent time on it, it failed.
Second one, this one will be different, failed.
And then the third one, this one, failed. And then 6 more after that.
I'm just painting this picture because, like, it's painful as shit, because the whole time everyone is telling you, I told you so, and they're right. Today. But not forever.
The world belongs to optimists, because if you're going to do anything big, you have to believe that it can happen. Otherwise, it never will. Sean Puri says the cynics get to be right and the optimists get to be rich. 99% right and 100% wrong. They're right 99% of the time, but they're wrong 100% because the only thing that matters is the big one at the end.
I'm going to say something to you. You're smart, you're talented, you know a few things, but talent means nothing in this game if you don't make the right choices. There's plenty of talented people out there who never see the light of day anymore. Last thing, it takes discipline. Because this whole game is one big long shot. And if you don't have the discipline to stay away from the flyers or from the gambles or whatever else you want to call a stupid move, then my friend, I'm afraid to say one day you will go down. It's inevitable. You want my advice? Make a list of everything you want now, and then plan on spending the next 25 years of your life getting it, slowly, piece by piece.
The more time you spend alone with yourself, the more time that you will be able to understand who you are. When I mean understand who you are, I'm talking about without any outside interference, without any friends, without any peer pressure of wanting to be like someone else. The more time you spend alone, you're going to figure out, okay, what your purpose is. And I say that because of this. God will talk to you. You start seeking in those moments of not having any outside distractions. What happens is things become clear. Clarity sets in. And you're able to make decisions not based on what you saw that day or what you heard that day or what that person may have said to you. You're able to make decisions based on how you feel internally.
What are you running from? He beat you, didn't he? Stop running from it. Let that pain become your inspiration, and then you'll have something that people can believe in.
So a lot of people ask me what it's like to live with David, and I figured I had the perfect opportunity tonight to just give a little bit of insight. So today, just randomly, David says after we come home from the gym that he was going to go on a 100-mile ruck tonight. So unplanned, just spur of the moment. We're out here. We left just about 12 and a half hours ago, or just over 12. Oh God, that's blurry. 12:43 a.m. It's 38 degrees. And he's about 60 or 60 some miles in at this point. I haven't spoken to him in a few hours other than to give him my socks. because it's cold and he has Raynaud's, so he's wearing them as his gloves. And, you know, it's lonely as hell. No one's out here. It's just me. No one would even know he's doing this if I wasn't recording this video. And that's so much of his life. Just all of the unseen work that goes into being David. I don't think people can even imagine the discipline and the hours spent alone just grinding. And the other thing people can't imagine is the pain and discomfort that goes into it. You know, every day when he starts running, it's like the first few miles, he's just hobbling along. And, you know, I know that he's just 3 months post-surgery. 3.5 months ago, I wrote to his surgeon. It was end of September. And I said, you know, David was going to come in for surgery. And he said, well, I just hope he's not jumping out of planes. Well, he sure was. He was in British Columbia jumping out of planes.
There's a process to all this stuff, man. The process starts with, you got to shut off technology. You got to go here. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and they have to, you can't think. Be alone. Go to that dark space. In that dark space, shut life off for a little bit. Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the you want to be. You don't know what you don't want, because you don't know what you want to be because you haven't spent time, real time with yourself. Spend time with yourself. Trust me. And once you find that passion and that purpose, your goals, your purpose, everything will just start lining up. And then you'll find the courage to start that journey from that 20 to 100.
I think intellect not only demands solitude, but it feeds on it. I think you are the product of who you are when no one is watching, essentially.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of people are afraid of being alone because they think that being alone means that you're lonely. I was walking down the streets here in London and there was a homeless man. It said, hungry and lonely. And I'm like, you know, sometimes, you know, I slept in my car, but I never felt lonely. I was with myself because I developed a relationship with myself. So solitude is extremely important because most people don't create the time, the space in order to converse with themselves, in order to think, in order to get to know who they are. Know thyself. Why? Because if you know yourself, you know your tendencies, you know your habits, you know your behaviors, you know what you're good at, you're bad at, what's your weakness, what's your strength. You can develop a strategy, a plan to build yourself up. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up in limbo. Solitude is key because it creates the silence and the space in order for you to grow. And in the darkness, putting in the work, in the quiet hours, that's where winning is made.
If I'm running on a treadmill and I get to mile 9 and I get complete cramp in one of my legs, and I know I've told myself I'm going to run 10 kilometers today, he goes, I will have to limp the last mile, even if no one's watching, because I can't let the demons in. And if I let the demons in, they'll show up in the 11th round of a championship fight when there's 50,000 people watching me in the audience. And I know deep in my self-story that I'm the type of person that quits when things get hard because I got off that treadmill at mile 9 when no one was watching. It would modify my self-story. The commitments we keep to ourselves and what we do when no one's watching is the most persuasive evidence that governs everything we then do every day thereafter.
That's the thing about being alone. It's not that you feel like you don't have anybody. It's like you feel like nobody has you. And man, I know when, especially when we're young, that's so, we can't even put it into words, but we can feel that. And I remember a lot as a child feeling that way. You know, just feeling like nobody has me.
This workout here is systematically designed for growth. That's all it's about. But in order to find that growth, you must first feel the pain. This workout here at Miami Fitness, late at night, man, Friday night, everyone's out partying. I love that, man. They're all out there getting wasted, man. I'm in here getting stronger for it. Then get a good night's sleep with rest and nutrition. I'm gonna wake up, they're gonna be hungover. I'm gonna wake up kicking ass before they even know what hit them. Choices we make, guys, that leads to differential being remembered, forgotten. Miami Fitness, late at night. Time to get ahead.
It's like I say, we live in an external world. Everything is you got to see it, touch it. It's external. If you can, for the rest of your life, live inside of yourself. Stop listening to people who are calling you Everything that is makes no sense. All these insecure people putting their insecurities on you, you gotta flush it out. You gotta just be whoever the hell God or whoever the hell you believe in. If you believe in nothing but yourself, I don't care what it is. You gotta take everything and throw it away. You have to believe in one thing, and that is yourself. And I'm not saying don't believe in God or what you believe in, but right now, for you to find greatness in yourself, you're not gonna find it by looking in a book or by even hearing me. I may give you the spark, but you've got to go inside yourself to find it. And that means you gotta be quiet. Shut the fuck up, go in a room, stop talking, search your soul, search your mind, search your abilities, and you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So you gotta go start your journey. And the journey starts with you finding, why the hell am I here on this planet Earth? Why am I here? And if you don't know that, you will live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question, why?
Just stay focused, you understand? You know what I'm saying? Keep your mind straight on the prize. Don't let nothing get in between. You know what I'm saying? You gotta focus up, fully focused. You gotta be fully focused. You can't let shit in between the way you and your goal. You gotta just do it. You gotta just do it.
What kind of seed is in you? See, I believe part of our responsibility in life is to find out who we are, to discover ourselves. First off, we need to respect our nature. We need to realize we are part of a continuing chain that carries a legacy and a responsibility. And if that's the case, then we need to recognize that we were not biological coincidences. And I believe you were intentionally created for a myriad of purposes. There are many things we can do with our lives. And I think it's our job to find out what those things are and to do them as well as we possibly can.
We all have these feelings in our bodies, in our minds, in our souls. I act on mine. A lot of us who are afraid of something, we allow our minds to choose the path of least resistance, so we go a different route. When I'm afraid of something, it's telling me you must conquer that. You must do that.
Yeah.
You have to go that way. And most of us don't understand that mentality. We go left and we wonder why we haven't fulfilled something in our lives. It's because we continue to take the journey that is mapped out.
You don't feel as good as you can because you're not working as hard as you know you can. A focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. You must first become consistent before you can become exceptional. The fastest growth periods are often the most miserable. If you want progress, get used to pain.
Listen, getting successful, whatever you consider successful, if it's rich, whatever, it's not a magic trick. It's not God picks certain people he'll make rich and certain people he don't. He gives all of us as his children the power of choice. You have a say-so in that. You can decide to be rich, and with God's help, it's highly doable. But you first have to think it.
And when you understand it and you really are aware of it, you're already different. You're already different. People only fail because they get caught up into what winning was. You're supposed to fail at some point in time. You're supposed to get knocked down a couple times. You're supposed to lose. That's how you learn.
When at the right time, consistency. But people don't understand that like slow motion is better than like no motion. Like slow progress is way better than just not having nothing. And I feel like today's like right now, people aren't patient. Like I swear to God, I just feel like people are not patient with the blow up. I feel like people are just trying to rush and trying to hurry up and do this and this, knowing that that's gonna take years. You have to wait. And I just say play the back until it's time to play the front. And when it's your time to play the front, you go full throttle. Like today, like now is the time.
I tell the same thing to anybody, no matter what your field is. If you really want it that bad, you'll make it happen. You know, if you could put aside the distractions, the Instagram, TV, some charity event that there's gonna be girls there, and you're like, no, I'm gonna go to sleep early today, wake up and do what I gotta do. It just plans out over a period of time, I think. Comfortable with being uncomfortable. So you gotta learn to be an animal.
The most important conversation you will ever have in your life is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually, you're going to act on it, whether you're good or bad. You have to face that in that dark room. In that dark room is who you are. But in that dark room is where you have to create another human being that walks out of that dark room to face who you are. That's the only way you're going to get over all those things. You have to create someone else. Not like you have two different personalities. It is you. But you have to find strength. And that visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here. That's Goggins. In the dark room, you face yourself, you realize you want to be better, you realize you don't want to be this weak, insecure person in the world who has all these problems that we all have. We all have. Social media is a great platform to tell you who we want to be, not who we are. So that's where that dark room is.
The only question is, are you going to be at the top of your field, or you're still going to be down there with the mediocre 80%? And the wonderful thing is this is nobody's better than you, and nobody's smarter than you. If anybody else is at the top of their field, it means that you can be at the top of your field.
I don't know how to start improving my life. Someone might say that. And I would say, well, you're not aiming low enough. There's something you could do that you are regarding as trivial, that you could do, that you would do, that would result in an actual improvement. But it's not a big enough improvement for you, so you won't lower yourself enough to take the opportunity.
Sally calls me rhino skin. You can't hurt my fucking feelings. Because growing up in the hood, my dad told me, he says, it's not what they say to you, Dan, it's how you interpret the words. And it stuck. Now, it used to be sticks and stones. Remember I said sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me? It's just the opposite now.
Remember, we work hard to become our own boss so we can do what we want to do. The ultimate goal is to go to sleep when you want to and wake up when you want to. See, when you don't wake up when you want to, then guess what? Somebody's controlling you. And I don't want to be controlled. I want to be my own boss. That's why I paid $750,000 to get out my contract. And in 3 fights, I made $750 million.
When you really sit back at your life and you're in that dark room and you're looking at where you started from and you tell yourself, God, dog, man, my mom is this way, my stepdad got murdered, my dad beat the shit out of me, I can't read and write to save my fucking soul, I've lied about it to everybody, I've cheated on all these tests. My God, man. And then you put a goal in your mind. How are you gonna feel, man, when you accomplish this goal coming from that shit? Coming from the fucking hell you came from. A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these motherfuckers? What if everybody who was fucking way up here started up here, and you started with no legs. You had to grow fucking legs to even start walking, and then crawling, and then running, and then you start passing people with all this given to them. I had to use all this negative shit that was making me weak and horrible as a person. I had to use this as the power that now fueled me. I had to flip it on its head and say, hold up. This might be exactly what I need. The darkness is exactly what I need. It's how you look at your situation.
Whenever you feel negative or unhappy about anything, you say, wait a minute, I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for what happens. I can't change the past, so I'm not going to spend a second worrying about the past. I'm going to become so busy working on my future and my goals that I don't have time to think about the past.
You got to go, man. You just have to go. Never wait on the right time, because the right time ain't ever coming. All that, when we get my ducks lined up in the row, no, you won't. So there will always be an obstacle. So if you're waiting on the right time, you'll never make the move. You have to go.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything.
That's it.
In the book, you talk about Roger that, there being two types of Roger that. Mm-hmm. The second type, received orders given, expect results.
That's it.
Above and beyond, more than was expected.
That's right.
To the letter.
That's Roger that. That is, for me, what Roger that means.
Received, orders given.
Yep.
Expect results.
Expect results. That's right. That is it. And when you hear that from somebody who gets it, you know it because you can look in their eyes. You feel that energy, man. It connects immediately. They're out here to get a job done. Roger that. So.
Doing the courageous or brave thing in spite of not wanting to do it is bravery.
Right.
There's no such thing as fake bravery. If you do the thing and didn't want to do it, that's bravery. And if you don't do the thing despite wanting to do it, that's cowardice.
Right.
But motivation works the same way. If you do the thing and you didn't want to, that is motivation.
And look, I'll be the first one to tell you, there were a lot of days where I did not want to get out of bed. And I guarantee you, if I ask the question here, if everybody is excited to get out of bed every single day, if I saw a hand, I'm going to blatantly call you a liar. If you have those little small goals, those little small things that get you excited when you don't want to, it's going to make it even better and even easier at the end when you're getting ready for a presentation or the end of the year or this or that, whatever event you're leading up to. If you look at the greats in any walk of life, the greats do things when they don't always want to. And that's the separation. For me, that's what I've found.
You think I don't go through depression sometimes? You think I don't get sad sometimes? You think I don't just feel wore out and burnt plumb down to the bottom of my soul? We all do.
Nobody knows but you. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life, right? Nobody knows what you are.
I need to stay television, I need to stay locked in. I need to keep my eyes on the prize. I gotta stay focused, I gotta stay disciplined. I cannot lose focus. I can't. And it gets hard. It gets hard, bro. Because I'm a human, I'm not a robot. When your eyes look this way, your eyes look that way, and you get sidetracked for a few seconds and stuff. That happens to the best of us. But I gotta make sure that God helps me re-lock back in. Lock back in on what really matters. And if I really care about it and I want it that bad, I'm gonna make sure my attention goes back to where it needs to go. Period. It's the same thing for you.
I know what darkness looks like. I know what it feels like to be alone with no motivation, no drive, no passion. But if you are able to get up every morning, have no passion, no drive, no motivation, no and still get up with that kind of fire, you will be successful in life. I guarantee you that.
Our scars can destroy us, even after the physical wounds have healed. But if we survive them, they can transform us. They can give us the power to endure and the strength to fight.
Greatness is a bunch of pain that forces you to come out of your comfort zone. Because if it's done no other way, you will never reach greatness. It's impossible. And that's why when you think about the mentality of greatness, there are no breaks. I hate to tell people that, right? Because today's time, everybody wants it fast.
This is all about the quitting mind. Your mind's getting softer. I do this every morning to prepare my mind for what life's gonna throw at me. A healthy body gives you a healthy mind. You gotta strengthen your mind, take control of that. So then when you get out in the real world and they f*** you up, you got protection.
The next day when you wake up, you do better. And then the next day you wake up, you do better. Next day you wake up, you do better.
But I want to be great, but I don't have greatness in me. So I had to create a motherfucker that was great.
I was like, hold on a second. I have something they don't have. And that's when I started to develop these things through working out. It was this great, never-ending work ethic. And through work ethic, I developed self-esteem.
Don't have a quitting mind. Repetition every day. Stay hard.
I'm about pushing limits, bro. That is, I'm about pushing limits. I don't think I'm regular.
I don't think I'm regular. I'm being so for real, and I've been feeling that way. When it comes to work ethic and what I feel like I can do, I don't feel like there's nothing on earth I can't do if I put my mind to it, period. I don't think so. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things, period.
If I were to say, hey, I need you to hold your breath, but I don't tell you how long, 20 seconds in, you might be thinking, this is stupid. Is he going to stop? Is he going to wait for me to pass out? And all these stupid thoughts go into your mind. But if I say, I need you to hold your breath for 3 minutes, your lungs might burn, but you can see that there's this end that's coming. The difficulty with personal development and entrepreneurship is that you don't know when the end is coming, but you still need to fight like the second mouse who gets out, gets dried off, and gets put back in. And the only certainty that I can give you is that it's the same thing that every other mouse, every other person who got through that period went through.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, God will sell you anything at the price of labor. And that is true. So what you have to do is, if you want something, you have to work for it. And most people that think that the world is based off of luck have never truly worked for something. Not enough to understand that luck does not exist. It's merely a game of probabilities. You work hard, you work more, you work longer, and eventually you can increase your odds of success.
You have to dance beautifully in the box that you are comfortable dancing in, right? So like everybody's box is different. My box was to be extremely ambitious within the sport of basketball. Your box is different than mine, right? Every kid here has their own box, but it doesn't mean that your box isn't as beautiful as mine, right? Everybody has their own. It's your job to try to perfect it and make it as beautiful of a canvas as you can make it. And if you have done that, then you have lived a successful life. You have lived with Mamba mentality. Right? So it doesn't mean you have to go out here and do all of these crazy things. I'll have to be like this person or that person. No, what are you comfortable being? What is it that you want to do with your life? And once you have that, then you try to live it to the best of your ability.
You fall into the trap of what is called Parkinson's law. Now, Parkinson's law says that work expands to fill the time allotted for it. That if you have 2 hours of work to do and 8 hours of time, you will stretch that work over 8 hours. Parkinson's law also says that work contracts to fill the time allotted for it. If you have 8 hours of work to do, and because of an emergency you have to have it done in 2 hours, you will get it done in 2 hours. Highly effective people are always setting tight, stringent, disciplined deadlines on themselves so they get more work done in a short period of time rather than less work done in a long period of time.
When you're growing in a business, it's very painful. When you're stagnating in a business and you're plateaued and you don't know what to do, it's very painful. When you're declining and you also don't know what to do, it's very painful. And so that means that all conditions of reality are painful. And so if pain is a prerequisite for reality, then it means it's just a signal that we are alive. And so in thinking about that, rather than pain as a problem, it is a signal that I'm breathing, and then becomes irrelevant.
I used to ask myself, can I do this? And something said within me, you're the one. You're the one. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. While you're here, and before you go back home to your respective cities and communities, write down at least 5 reasons on why you deserve your dream, on why you won't give up, what's going to make you unstoppable, why you must be unreasonable, because logical, practical thinking says you can't do it today. But if you want to produce unreasonable results in your life, like living your dream and taking charge of your destiny, you've got to be an unreasonable person. You've got to be an uncommon person.
Driven human beings are going to always feel like they're behind. They're going to always feel like they're not doing good enough. They're all going to always feel like you're losing. 90% of the time, you're going to feel like you're getting your balls kicked in. 8% of the time, you're going to be confused and you're frustrated. 2% of the time, you actually win. Those moments come and go, and then you're back in the 90%. And that's the reality of a winner's life. People don't understand that. They think it's all about cruising around in a cool car, having a free and happy and easy and go-lucky life. And that's not reality, because true winners are built for the...
If you don't see results in the first 2 days or the first week, I'm done. That's the mentality of most people. The struggle is too real. We're not patient. We, like in a world where you can Google the best restaurants around me right now, no one is patient. And for you to lose weight, for you to stop drinking, whatever the hell you're going through, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, and a lot of pitfalls, a lot of plateaus. You're gonna hit so many plateaus. If you don't know how to get around that plateau, it's not gonna happen fast.
Fight. We're built for the battle.
You know, I really don't have regrets. I am a person that says, you know, as soon as you look back in your history and you come up with something that you feel like you want to change, something else has to change. You know, so once again, that's the same analogy. You know, disappointment to me, to win, you got to lose. To be successful, you got to have something that's not successful.
They say, oh, it's already okay here. Why you still want to move up there? The air is getting thinner over there. It's getting more hard to breathe. It's getting more dangerous, whatever. So that means along this way, the higher you want to go, the more likely you're gonna walk alone. This is the next thing. And then I think back also in one sentence, I always remember again, along the way to mastery, you walk the way alone.
There's a moment in every fight where the crowd goes quiet, where it's just you, the opponent, and the voice in your head saying, this is too much. But champions don't listen to that voice. They dig deeper. They find one more punch, one more round, one more reason to keep going. Life's not won in the easy rounds. It's decided when everything's on the line, when giving up seems easier than standing tall. That's when you show what you're made of. So I'll ask you, when it gets tough, will you fold or will you fight?
But through years, not a podcast or listening to a book or reading a book, years of sacrifice, of suffering, of diligent, pinpoint work on what you want to do for yourself.
Whenever I face anything that's challenging, whenever anything sucks, I like it. I like it. It's gonna make me tougher. It's gonna give me a good story to tell. It's gonna toughen my mind.
I wish I had known that this too shall pass. You feel bad right now? You feel pissed off? You feel angry?
Yes,
this too shall pass.
Great.
You feel great? You feel like you know all the answers? You feel like that everybody finally gets you, and there you are. This too shall pass.
Good.
Time is your ally, and if nothing else, just wait.
Just wait.
Just wait it out.
At 43, I'm still putting 100-mile weeks, still doing thousands of pull-ups, thousands of push-ups, because I'm not allowing myself to become civilized. The worst thing that can happen to a man is become civilized. You lose that f***ing fight. You lose that, why the f*** am I doing this shit? I'm good. You ain't good, man. You ain't never f***ing arrived. And that's just my mentality. You may have more, but you never f***ing arrived. You want to be uncommon amongst uncommon people.
Believe in yourself. Don't fear failure. Dream big. Work hard. Stay positive. Enjoy the journey.
You want to be that one mother that every day, whether it's raining, snowing, sleeting, you lost every dime, your mom died, your dad died. You come and you bring the energy that it takes to make a team function at the highest level every day. And that's the person you want to be every day of your life.
You know, fuck your tired body, fuck that unmotivated mind, and get out there and do it anyway. You know, you better fight yourself, because you're not only winning when things are going your way. You got to figure out how to win when things aren't going your way. You got to figure out when your body's fighting you, when your mind's fighting you. How do you still, you know, just say, fuck it, I'm gonna beat my mind today? Or do you just give in to your mind and say, oh, I'm tired today, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it, it's too hard, no one else is doing it, it's a weekend, it's too late, these are already off hours, oh, exactly what I want isn't happening right now. Like, okay, great. You know who that's great for? Your competition. You want that attitude to permeate the people that you're competing against. You want them to give in to their mind. You want them to say, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it.
But whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. A reminder for the gladiators in the arena who feel beat up and scarred with no hope in sight. Building a business is hard. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like. And this is why most people can't do it. But you can.
You need to stop listening to others and start listening to yourself. But the problem is nobody knows how to listen to themselves. They're scrolling on TikTok, music on loud every day, when they're driving, radio turned on, when they're home scrolling on their phones, when they ask for opinions, they ask for opinions from other people. They ain't even asking opinions from themselves. They're going to a psychologist, asking a psychologist for wisdom and advice on how to live their lives. And they're paying this motherfucker money, and all you are is a client, so might as well keep this person sick as long as possible, or deranged, or in the loop of coming and sitting on the chair. Why? Because they're paying for the fucking mortgage. When was the last time you sat down and defined your symphony of success? What does success look like to you? To me, it's not having a ton of properties and living in a big fat box and having a ton of supercars. No, to me, it's freedom.
There's times where you can go without your friends, you can go without going out, you can go without other people around you. Your visions in these things will become clear to you. You have to make that start. You have to separate yourself from the pack. You have to be willing to spend time with yourself. You have to be willing to start cutting things out of your nutritional program. Eat healthy. Get enough rest. Get enough sleep. All of these things come into play of finding your purpose. And it's almost sacrificing. You have to sacrifice. Greater the sacrifice, greater the reward. This is so true. And when you do these things, you'll start seeing that, okay, well, I used to do this. And when you go out and you don't do it anymore, it's very, very clear that you've made the right decision, because your friends will still be doing that. And you'll find yourself that you don't fit in with that crowd anymore. You'll start getting away from people that are negative. You only want to be around positive. You'll start not wasting your time on things that aren't productive, and you will start taking your time and energy and put it into things that you enjoy doing that are productive for yourself.
My escape will always be, and has always been, the basketball court. Being able to go out there and put on a show for people. When I realized that talent was not going to be enough. It was not going to be enough for me to be anywhere near greatness. I made that choice to outwork everyone.
Life isn't fair. We have to understand that. It shouldn't be fair. It's a trial ground, it's a testing ground. It's built to make us harder. It's built to make us as strong as we can, to test us, to drive us. So, mentality is the only thing that gets us through life. I was an underdog. We are all underdogs in life. Even the baddest person in the world should think that way. So you should always have I've never arrived mentality. It doesn't matter where you come from, the sewer or wherever you think you're from. When I got out of the sewer, I got to the road and looked around and said, can't hurt me. Nothing should be able to hurt you. If you believe that, it starts to become true.
But the work that you put in every single day, the mindset that you cultivate every single day, the spirit that you cultivate every single day, the work ethic, the dedication and commitment, that's you, right? That's your essence, that's your ethos, that's who you are, right? Like I'm ink. Like I believe it with every ounce of the word when I tell a cat, my arm and my hand paralyzed, my heart isn't. It isn't. Like my arm and my hand is paralyzed, my mentality, it isn't. My dedication, my commitment level isn't. And so the next day for me, was, all right, bro, regular schedule programming. Let's rock.
There's a moment when every boy realizes no one's coming to save him. And that's when he becomes a man. And some boys never get there and stay children forever. That guy was you that said that. And it's important when we step out of this. Like, this stuff matters because no one's effing coming to save you. No one's going to make you better at your business. No one is going to get you to be a better persuader of people or framer of people other than you.
This isn't for the masses. This is for those who want to leave normal behind. Those who are in search of a new realm.
It's a lonely journey. You're isolated. Those who used to keep pace with you will fall off. They'll see where their world ends and yours begins. Your ability to suffer, endure, outwork must be greater. You must be willing to extend yourself to the limit with no guarantee of success. Every day, you must ask yourself, did I do enough? Stay hard.
Ask people all the time, man, who are you when it goes south, man? Not when you get what you want. Mm-hmm. We know when the sun's shining and you get what you want, you gonna smile. Right. Babies do that. I give them a bottle, they gonna smile. Mm-hmm. I give them what they want, they gonna smile. I give a puppy a snack, he gonna smile. But when you don't get what you want, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, even if it affects and impacts you on a physical level, who are you? Right? Because that's the person that your kids are gonna learn from. That's the person that your parents raised. That's the person that will go out and either positively or negatively affect and impact the world. Who are you?
You can be popular, but to be great, Monday on top of Tuesday, Tuesday on top of Wednesday, Wednesday on top of Thursday, Thursday on top of Friday, Friday on top of Saturday, Saturday on top of Sunday, and start over, and start over, and start over, and start over. And true greatness is always evolving. True greatness is always evolving. It never stays the same. Your comfort zone will stay the same, unless sometimes you're forced to come out of it. I truly believe this. I said this. I spoke at T.D. Jakes' church not too long ago. And I said, you will never touch a level of greatness until your comfort zone is disturbed.
If you committed the next 365 days of your life to the persistent pursuit of your potential and you were grinding 24/7 and you didn't cheat yourself, imagine what you would become. You would become a ruthless killer. You would become such a G that nobody would say, nah, this person ain't doing it. You'd be undeniable. 365 days, if you committed to that, you would win.
He was born into the noise of doubt. They told him, stay in your lane, dream smaller. But every no he heard fueled a louder yes inside him. He wasn't born with answers or privilege. What he had was grit. He fell. He failed, but he never stayed down. Every scar was a lesson. Every loss, a step forward. Now they call him lucky, but luck didn't build this. Choices did. Relentless choices. So what's stopping you? Fear? Doubt? The clock's still ticking. Your story starts now.
The biggest thing you have to do is shut off technology. You have to go dark. What I mean by that is you have to be quiet in your mind. Get away from people. We love being around people. We love talking. We love parties. We love all that shit. It's okay to be alone. It's also okay to be unhappy. It's okay to be unhappy sometimes, man. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm fucked up. So you gotta go to the truth first. Who are you? Get really accountable and say, okay, who am I? What's the truth about me? Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out, it may take months, it may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you want to be in life. And then from there, okay, I have my purpose. It may take a long time. No one knows their purpose because it's too loud. Find your purpose. From there, all right, you gotta start planning. People love the planning phase because it's very comfortable. And then from the planning phase, you gotta go to execution. So the execution phase we all hate, because that's where the real work begins, and that's when the failure happens, and the failure. So, but you know, that's kind of how you have to do it.
Make the sacrifices, make the unpopular decisions, and become comfortable in your own skin. And if you are not a person that you are comfortable being alone with, that is the one person in this universe that you have full power, full right, and full responsibility to change.
Man, like, you think you got so much time, man. Like, you think you got so much time. You know what I'm saying? Just in life. My life changed September 9th. When I woke up September 10th, my perspective was totally different about the entity of life.
Yes, sir.
The sense of urgency that life gave me that next morning. Not that I woke up and I was rushing everything, but I woke up knowing that, man, can change pretty quick. Like, you could wake up on top of the world, you can go to sleep and wake up and the world could be on top of your ass and you could have no control over it, right? Like, that's just how life works. And so we think as if we have time. Like, one of the first things she said was, man, I thought we had a little more time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think you got time, man. Not that you need to rush your life, but you think you got time. Make that call, man. Like, you think you got time. Write that letter. You think you got time. Go see that person. You think you got time. We just treat life as if it's promised to us. It's not.
If you want something, you have to work for it. And most people that think that the world is based off of luck have never truly worked for something. Not enough to understand that luck does not exist. It's merely a game of probabilities. You work hard, you work more, you work longer, and eventually you can increase your odds of success.
Listen up. Today isn't just another day. It's a chance to break limits. Stop waiting for permission. Stop second-guessing yourself. The opportunity is right in front of you. Take it, own it, and don't look back. Because legends are built, one bold move at a time.
This life is relentless. You better keep coming back from all your failures, all your doubts, all your shit. You better keep fighting, keep getting up. Never lay down for shit. That's one thing we should all agree on. If you've been broken once, you know how that shit feels. That means, fuck it. Try and break me again. Suffering has no expiration date. It don't give a if you're black, white, poor, rich, where you come from, how you were raised. It will keep coming after you.
What do I do on those days when I don't feel like doing it? I do it. What do I do on the days where I'm filled with self-doubt? I do it. What do I do on those days where I feel sick? I do it. I just do it. Like, it's that simple, dude. And I do it regardless of how I feel.
Until you have had the taste of finishing, you will not respect yourself. Until you follow through, until something is done, come hell or high water, tears and struggles and pain, and you go through it anyway, and you show up and you continue to fight on no matter the circumstances. After a while, something begins to wither inside of you. Love beareth.
The path of success and the path of greatness is lonely, and you have to be willing to be alone in the process to getting to the top. And my main perspective in life wasn't to become successful. My perspective of life has become to pursue truth. And when I told God, hey, I will sacrifice my family, my relationships, even my life for the pursuit of truth, then that commitment and that dedication carried me through any insecurities, any doubt, any loneliness, and eventually all these things played out well.
Anxiety is anticipation of future pain, and action alleviates anxiety. And if you don't lean into action, you will not lose that anxiety. You can't be allergic to hard work, right? You can't. And I have this saying at the project, I say, bitches look for balance and savages go all in on whatever they're doing. In this life, we have to make money. In this life, if you want the body, you have to eat right, you have to be fit. In this life, if you want a meaningful relationship, you have to put in the work in that relationship.
Once you've determined what you want and where you want to go, you need to input the necessary amount of energy in order to get there. You want to be successful? You're going to have to work for it. You want a good relationship with your spouse? You're going to have to work for it. You want a good physique? You want good health? You're going to have to work for it. If you want to achieve success, you're going to have to pay the price. And it won't be cheap. It'll be tireless nights, long days, empty bank accounts, depressing thoughts, isolation, loneliness, tribulation, heartaches, headaches, and a lot of pain. But on the other side of pain is success. And if you understand that and you have that as the beacon in the forefront of your life, work becomes more bearable. The journey becomes more enjoyable because you understand that in due time, you will reap.